This is week 4, activity number 2, and we're finishing off the lesson customary units for capacity. We're looking at page 592, but before we look at those questions, I suggest you get yourself a piece of paper and make your own land of gallon picture to help you with some of these questions. So for the land of gallon, we start with a big G because the gallon is our largest unit. This represents our land, our town of Gallon. And in the land of Gallon, we have 4 queens. I make 4 big Q's. Try to make them pretty big. Because there are 4 quarts in a gallon. 4 quarts inside 1 gallon. And then each queen has a prince and a princess. Because there are 2 pints to make 1 quart. And each prince and princess has 2 crowns. So we're going to put CC inside each one because there are 2 cups inside each pint. Now keep that handy as we look at our questions. So some of these questions are kind of tough. You can try them on your own or you can do this part with me. Question 13 says, Tiger asked Shakira for 1 quart of milk for his tea. How many pints of milk does Shakira need to give Tiger? So 1 quart, and we want to know how many pints that is. So we're trying to figure out 1 quart is equal to how many pints. And if you have your picture nearby, you can see 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. Steve buys a 2-quart container of orange juice. How many cups of orange juice does he buy? So if I look at, I'm trying to figure out 2 quarts is equal to how many cups. I can use my little picture here. 2 quarts, and we're just going to look at 2 of them. We want to see how many cups that takes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Visual can be really handy. I still use it sometimes, even now that I'm grown up, if I need to convert things. Mr. Armstrong is serving 8 quarts of cranberry juice and 3 gallons of apple juice at a party. Each glass contains 2 cups. How many glasses will Mr. Armstrong serve? So we've got 8 quarts and 3 gallons. Well, one thing I know about quarts, I know 4 quarts make 1 gallon. So 8 quarts would be 4 quarts and another 4 quarts. That would be 2 gallons. So really we have 5 gallons of juice here. And we're trying to figure out how many groups of 2 cups. Well, I know 2 cups is another way to say 2 cups is a pint. So we're trying to figure out how many pints that'll be. We want to know 5 gallons is equal to how many pints. So I think the easiest way to look at this is to figure out, well, how many pints are in 1 gallon, and then we can multiply that by 5. So if 1 gallon has 2, 4, 6, 8 pints, and and we are going to have 5 of those gallons, we can say, well, that's 5 groups of 8 pints. 5 times 8 would be 40. So 40 glasses that each hold a pint or 2 cups. That was a pretty tough one there. And number 16. Emily enjoys drinking cocoa before she goes to bed at night. Choose the amount that her mug could hold. A is 4 quarts. Well, 4 quarts, that makes a whole gallon. That would be a lot of cocoa. So I don't think that one makes sense. 2 gallons, you know, a gallon is a milk. Like a gallon of milk. 2 of those, that would be too much also. 2 cups, now that sounds like it might be right. 4 pints. 4 pints is 2 quarts. And that would be half of a gallon. That's quite a bit. That's too much. 2 cups is the most reasonable answer for how much cocoa she would drink. Alright, so your independent work for today, you're supposed to choose the unit that makes the most sense. Remember, cup was my little container of water, and sometimes you might even want to look back over here to kind of get a visual picture for what a cup is. 2 cups equal a pint, 2 pints make a quart, and 4 quarts equal a gallon. So we've got the cup, the pint, the quart, or the gallon, and you decide which one would work best to measure the liquid in those containers. Okay, then we have some regrouping here. So if we want to know, we have 8 quarts makes how many gallon, so we have to remember that 4 quarts equal 1 gallon. So you can regroup those into 4 quarts equaling 1 gallon to see how many gallons that would be. 4 pints in how many quarts, and we remember that 2 pints equals 1 quart. So for every 2 pints, we can put them together, and that makes a quart. And then this says 6 cups in blank pints. And we remember that 2 cups equal 1 pint. So for every 2 cups, we make a pint. On question 7, JC's fish tank holds 12 quarts of water. How many gallons of water should JC use to fill his fish tank? So you have to think about 4 quarts make 1 gallon. How many groups of 4? You might even draw out 4 Q's here for quart, and every group of 4 makes 1 gallon. Number 8, Selena has a cooking pot that holds 3 quarts of water. How many cups of water does she need to fill the pot? This one, your picture would be really helpful here. So if we have 3 quarts of water, you can easily look at your picture to figure out how many cups that will be. Back, Zuri wants to fill a 1 gallon jug with pints of juice. How many pints to fill the 1 gallon? Again, your picture would help you a lot on number 9. How many pints to make this whole gallon? Tanner buys a 1 gallon jug of milk. How many cups of milk can he pour from the gallon? So here's your 1 gallon. How many cups make up the gallon? Number 11, Henley needs 2.5 quarts of water to make a batch of chicken soup. How many pints of soup will Henley make? Your picture can help you on this one too. 2.5 quarts. 1 quart, 2 quarts, and a half of a quart. And you can figure out how many pints that would be. Chen places a large pot on the stove to cook spaghetti. Choose the amount that Chen's pot could hold if it were full. So you've got to think about what would be the most reasonable amount of water we could fill up that big pot on the stove with. Number 13, Mr. Tomei uses 5 quarts of pineapple juice and 2 gallons of orange juice to make punch. How many 1-cup servings of punch will Mr. Tomei make? On this one, I would suggest drawing a little picture. Quart, 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 quart. There's the 5 quarts. And then 2 gallons. Well, we know for every gallon we have 4 quarts. So there is the 2 gallons. 1 gallon, 2 gallons. I'm going to go back to my picture. I'm trying to figure out cups. So I can see, well, in every quart there are 1, 2, 3, 4 cups. 4 cups inside every quart. So you can use that picture to help you figure that out. And the last question, Garcia has a 5-gallon fish tank and a 3-gallon fish tank. How many more pints of water are in the 5-gallon tank than in the 3-gallon tank? Well, we know that the difference between a 5-gallon and a 3-gallon tank is 2 gallons. So we are just trying to figure out how many pints are in 2 gallons. 2 gallons equals how many pints? Now you can look at your picture here. You could draw it twice, or you can figure out how many pints go into 1 gallon and then double it for 2 gallons. Okay, good luck. Make sure you email your work into your math teacher when you're finished.